Sebastian Coe joins us. It is a pleasure to be with you. Does that feel like 40 years ago, that 1980 gold medal?
It seems like yesterday, Mike, but I'm only relieved that it's not in black and white.
Yes, they had color and they had the time on the bottom of the screen and all of that. You've been such a part of the Olympic movement for so long in so many different ways. I'm just curious, as we sit here now in 2020, sometimes it feels like it's so big you can't get your arms around it. I know you're just involved with the athletics, world athletics and track and field. But what is your position on where we are in the overall Olympic movement now?
I think the Olympic movement is strong. Clearly, it's been a very big setback not to have an Olympic Games scheduled when we were expecting it. You know, it wasn't that long ago I was chairing the organising committee for the London Games. I can only imagine how I would have felt in March of 2012 if somebody had come to me and said, look, we've got this pandemic that's going to stop you from delivering what turned out to be the greatest games ever. I think I'm probably allowed to say that from a slight distance. So, you know, nobody underestimates the challenge of having to reschedule. And of course, wearing my World Athletics hat, that was one problem. But of course, you can't just lift one piece of the jigsaw out of the global calendar, which is a very complicated matrix, without the knock-on effect. So mercifully, we were able, with great relationships in Eugene, Oregon, the hosts of what were going to be our 21 World Championships, we've now moved those to 22, which keeps the Olympic Games and the World Championships apart in the same season.
And Eugene has done some great work with the facility there, and we'll see that hopefully for the U.S. trials as they come up next year, leading up to Tokyo, and then the World coming here in 2022. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, the championships in Eugene are going to be fantastic. It's really important for our sport to have a foothold, more than a foothold in the US. And look, you are the largest global sports market. Athletics needs to be there. And I think there's something else that's important too. We need to use these championships, and then looking forward to the games in LA in 2028. We need to use that time to really start building the one-day meetings. You are the powerhouse of track and field. You have been for a long time. You routinely come back with more medals in track and field than any other nation. But we also need to have the opportunities for American athletes to be, to be earning their crust, to be performing in front of, great crowds and audiences in the US. And at the moment, it's rather European tilted. So I'm hoping that we can really start developing more one-day meetings in the US, which is what you had in the past.
And when you speak of the Diamond League meets, we see that very often, and many of those have been rescheduled this year, but you see where the international power for that sport and appeal for fans can be. And these are some of the Diamond League scheduled events that you'll see during the rest of this calendar year, as everything has been shifted because of the global pandemic. I'd like to come back to the why. Seb, why do you think that the U.S., given all the talent, has not found that magnetic connection with the American fans for what we call track and field?
Look, track and field is a very strong sport in the US. It's very strong at collegiate level. It's very, very strong in terms of the global footprint. But when I was competing a long time ago, there did seem to be more opportunities for US athletes to be competing on domestic soil. We love having your athletes in Europe. They add luster and sparkle to our events. But I would just like to see more opportunities for those athletes to earn a living domestically. And maybe we've all taken our eye off the ball a little bit here. If you look at, we've got a strategic plan that we are working our way through at the moment, and a very key indicator there is to try and reconnect more American fans with track and field. We had the World Under 20 Championships in Eugene in 2014. They were hugely successful. We were then, off the back of that, able to take the World Championships 21, now 22. And we I think this is a really good platform, and NBC have been terrific partners, and will be the host broadcaster for the championships in 22, and we have great relationships there. So I think it's not that difficult to reconnect, but I think we're all going to have to work a little bit harder at that and make sure that track and field, as you describe it, gets just a bigger shake in broadcast space.
I have only a minute or so left. A lot of other topics, and we'll have to revisit them at another time. But I want to get to one that is more timely. A bit of a welfare fund that has been set up because some of those athletes that we're discussing really have some challenges during this pandemic because no meets, no money being earned. So what have you folks been able to try to help set up to help those athletes in this tough time?
Look, it became abundantly clear to me, as you've said, no meets, no bonuses, no prize money. We're not able to replace every cent of that prize money, but there are going to be athletes globally that are really struggling. And when I say struggling, I'm talking about food, roof, clothes, the basic essentials. So we've created the fund, and we really do want to target those athletes that are most in need. We targeted those that are likely to go to the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and we want to actually build that fund. It's standing at about $500,000 at the moment. We can build on that. And really it's to provide a welfare network for those athletes who have served our sport well. And we just want to make sure that even a modest contribution can make a difference at these difficult times. It's what we should be doing. And I'm really pleased that our teams have got their heads around that.
Well, there are so many different topics, including clean sport, the Russian doping that you have been in the middle of the conversations at World Athletics. There's so many different other topics. I hope we can get a chance to visit a little more length some other time to delve into all of those as we get closer to Tokyo 2021. But thank you for joining us for a few minutes, and we look forward to seeing you not just in Tokyo, but hopefully before then.
I look forward to that opportunity, Mike. Thank you. And you stay safe.